Hi, I'm Dr. Lynn Smith here with my colleague Dr. David Jackson, the Jack McDowell School for Leadership Development, and we have been talking about integrated leadership.
Yes,
And today our conversation is going to focus on transportable skills.
absolutely.
And Dr. Jackson, there are several organizational cultures that require their personnel to move from assignment to assignment every few years.
Yes,
Now, with each new assignment comes different skill sets that are necessary. So, what are some strategies that we can employ to help us determine what skills are needed to do an assignment well?
absolutely. That's a great question. I think one of the first things you can do is to really understand the setting you're going to. A lot of times we kind of rush into settings assuming that we already know what to do because we are leaders. But if you don't have the buy-in and support of the people who are already there by listening to them and understanding the history of that particular setting, then it doesn't matter how good of a leader you are, you're going to get pushed back. So it's important to get a clear sense of your assignment. You also want to meet with the key stakeholders. Who are the people who are the movers and the shakers? And sometimes those people don't have the titles.
Mm.
Sometimes they do have the titles and the positions, and sometimes they don't. And so a keen leader can come into a setting and observe, Miss Lisa over here, who has been here for 30 years, who may just be an administrative assistant, right? You can't, downgrade people because of the role they have, but she has tremendous influence. And you want to really begin to listen to those people and spend time with them and learn what it is that is really needed in the setting. The other thing I would do is really consult with others who've held similar positions, right? There's people who have already been in this position before. Ask them, what did you do? What helped you to be successful? What were some of the hindrances you had? Especially in this particular culture in the Salvation Army, there's people who have actually had your seat before. Mm-hmm. So it may be helpful to talk to them and find out what did they do to be successful.
Excellent. Contextualizing or making our skills culturally relevant
Yes.
is important.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, we need to have a core set of skills that can work in any setting, in any culture. So now, how do you figure out what your core set of skills is?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because it's true. We are moving around. We have to know where we are and make our skills relevant. And what maybe worked in one appointment may not work in another appointment. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to feel like you're losing yourself from appointment to appointment. There should always be a core set of values, right? And so I think the first place to start with is you have to know what you already possess, your spiritual gifts. What has God given you by the Holy Spirit to operate in your function? What are your natural abilities, the things you've already just have been doing, it just comes to you very easily? And then what are your acquired skills, the things you've gained over time? And when you're very aware of what those things are, that really creates the core of who you are. So it doesn't matter where you have been assigned, what you've been asked to do, you can tap into those things that are already in your reservoir. Mm-hmm. And know how to use them, how to tailor them, how to curtail some areas of them, but you don't lose the core of who you are. And I think that's very important because those are things that God has entrusted. Here yes. At the School for Leadership Development, we call them entrustments. And so those are things that God has entrusted to your care to be stewards over. You don't want to forsake all of those things just because you went from maybe being a pastor where you preached a lot to now shifting to a more administrative role where you're more so managing people and operations, or you may be having to balance both. So you're kind of going back and forth between both hats. So really tapping into those things are very helpful. Also, what I love about God is He doesn't require us to abandon our personality in leadership.
That's good.
So we have unique personalities. We bring with us different experiences, perspectives. And so tap into those things. And if you lead from your personality, lead from your experiences with confidence, but also sensitivity to the setting, I think that's something that can go with you everywhere. People really attach themselves to people who they see their personality. If you're just always business and very stoic and rigid, it's like, I'm gonna do my assignment, but they are so whatever. Are they a person? Do they breathe? But when you really lead from your personality, and people also appreciate authenticity.
Yes.
So when you're authentically you, and they don't feel like you're a different person in this setting, and then you over here you're a different person, that can cause some distrust. And then the other thing I would say is you want to make sure that you are understanding the organization you're in and the profession you're in. So mm-hmm. all professions have a certain set of skills that you need to have, right? And so this across the board, you have to ask yourself, do I have these skills naturally, or can I easily gain these skills to be successful in this profession in general or in this particular organization. Because every organization has a culture, and you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Do I really have the skills to be successful in this organization? If you don't, you need to find the organization that does.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Last question. You know, work and life often place great demands on our time,
Yes.
and that can cause us to certainly neglect developing our skills.
Mm-hmm.
What are some strategies that you can share that will help us to intentionally develop our skills?
We have to do that, right? We have to be very intentional,
Yes.
or else our schedules will get away from us, and we'll look up a whole year and done nothing to develop
Absolutely.
ourselves as leaders. So, with that said, one of the things you want to definitely put on your calendar. You have to be intentional. Find opportunities. I know for me and I know for you, we're always looking for opportunities where we can go and better ourselves. And so, as you're looking at your email, as you're talking to people, even getting out into different settings, it's very important to not lose our social life
Yes.
because we're busy doing work. And so, as you're engaging in social settings, you hear about opportunities, you hear about workshops and seminars, and be intentional about putting it on your calendar. If you're so busy, in the Army, we're marching all the time. So we're so busy doing the work of God, doing the most good, that we don't make time. And so we have to be careful not to use the work of God as an excuse not to develop ourselves. Put it on your calendar. Another thing is provide training for your team. So if you have a group of people, be intentional about providing training for them, because if you're developing them, it does improve morale and productivity. But the byproduct is that you also get training. Because,
that makes a lot of sense.
right? Because if
Yes.
they're getting training, you're getting training. So
Right.
that's just a way to kill two birds with one stone. And then the last thing I would say is also find a coach and a mentor. A lot of leaders do not have coaches. They're just out here kind of doing it on their own, and that's a sensitive topic because you have to be careful who coaches you and mentor you, right? Especially if they really are digging into your personal life, not just your professional life. You have to find someone who you can trust, who is competent, who will maintain your confidence, but also challenge you to be better. And so if you can find a coach, a mentor, a spiritual director, anybody of that nature to really help you, that also helps you keep your skills sharp.
Excellent. Well, thank you so very much for joining us during this conversation of transportable skills and integrated leadership. We look forward to the next time.